Each annual Call of Duty is a by-the-numbers, perfunctory affair. But the game that ignited it all, Call of Duty 4, was anything but.
All right, y'all, welcome back to Come With Arms channel. Okay, so today we're checking out a video from the Ahoy YouTube channel, and you guys already know I love this channel. We've checked out a lot of their videos from the iconic Arms series, but this one is specifically about Call of Duty 4. So it's titled Modern Warfare: How Call of Duty 4 Changed a Genre Forever. Now, I might have mentioned it on the channel every now and again, but Call of Duty 4 is easily like one of my most favorite games ever, especially growing up. It was one of the big motivators for me joining the Marines, specifically the infantry, because you play as like the recon Marines in that game. And I've always kind of wanted to join the military, but when this came out in 2007, I was like, oh yeah, I definitely want to be in the Marines, and I want to be kind of, in that infantry role. I still had another 5 years before I could join, but this was a big motivator, as corny as it sounds, for me wanting to join the Marines. So I'm interested to see Ahoy's perspective. Now, it is a 28-minute video, so I try not to pause it too much, but I'm probably going to be nerding out the entire time because I'm a huge fan of this game and, of course, of this channel. So let's get into it. Nice.
Video games had a brief obsession with World War II shooters, and it all started with Medal of Honor. It was released in November 1999, made by DreamWorks Interactive, a joint venture between DreamWorks and Microsoft with creative input from Steven Spielberg.
I never played it, but I always wanted to.
One of the best of the year, the perfect blend of Hollywood and video games. EA acquired DreamWorks Interactive in February 2000, intent on exploiting the Medal of Honor IP. Medal of Honor Underground followed in October 2000.
Didn't end up as well as Call of Duty.
While the games were very popular on the PlayStation, EA wanted to crack the PC market as well. Steven Spielberg called id Software, inquiring about their availability. And while they were too busy to take on any new projects, they did have a recommendation. A promising new developer called 2015 Inc.
Huh. Never
2015 were founded in 1997 by Tom Kaderka,
that looks
with
badass.
a team assembled from the PC modding community. After impressing Activision with one of their Quake mods, they were offered the chance to work on an expansion pack for Sin, called Wages of Sin. After this, they were working on a Half-Life expansion titled Hostile Takeover, until they received the call from Spielberg. The chance to work on a mainline entry for the Medal of Honor series was compelling, so 2015 were signed up to develop Medal of Honor Allied Assault.
So they said it was a modding community? That's pretty... the Rangers, hell yeah. That's pretty cool to hear, like, this modding community, like, get approached for something like this. Like, that's got to be, like, one of those badass success stories, like, modders are always kind of hoping for. But maybe now, I don't know, because modders, they kind of have the liberty, depending on the game, they have a lot of liberty to do what they want. And it's kind of cool that they do have that liberty without being kind of confined by what the manufacturer wants.
Released in January 2002 to near universal acclaim. Game Informer declared, any of the standards set in the FPS genre have been simply obliterated by this game. To put it a little bit into perspective, I'd have to say Allied Assault is hands down the best first-person shooter ever coded.
Ever coded, too, is a weird way to
please,
word that.
For crying out loud, if you like PC shooters, play this game.
Not a weird way, a very specific way, and I kind of like how they did that.
Allied Assault was a spectacular game, and 2015 had cemented their reputation as top-tier PC developers. But it was here that EA made a critical mistake. Intent on developing Medal of Honor with their in-house studios, they ended their contract with 2015 and cut them loose.
Why did they do that? Damn, you can even see like the bullets hitting the water. That's crazy.
The company was potentially going to disband. In a last-ditch effort, our then-president, Grant Collier, sent out a signal to all the major publishers in the industry, letting them know that the majority of the Medal of Honor Allied Assault team was available.
Oh, snap.
Within days of closing the doors on the studio, Activision responded immediately with an offer.
Yoink. Very easy decision for them, I bet.
In May 2002, 22 former members of the 2015 team founded a new studio called Infinity Ward.
Oh, damn, 22.
Activision had a 30% stake, with the option to purchase the remainder at a later date. and they signed a long-term exclusive publishing deal. With their future secure, Infinity Ward started their first project, which was initially known as Medal of Honor Killer.
Yeah, that's kind of a weird name. It sounds like somebody who's like going after the Medal of Honor, or going after like Medal of Honor recipients, trying to like murder them or something.
Luxury of a full development cycle and creative control. With Allied Assault, they had already raised the bar for cinematic first-person shooters. All they had to do was do it again. The cinematic feel
Make
of
it
Allied
another
Assault
perfect
was
game.
dialed up further. Cutting-edge graphics, immersive sound, and an endeavor to make the virtual battlefield feel as real as possible.
That's true.
Much
Even
work
like
went into the artificial.
even now, I'd still play Call of Duty 2 and Call of Duty 3, just because of how fun they were. I mean, the graphics, of course, aren't going to be great, but they were just fun games.
Intelligence, with your squad mates serving a more active role in the fight. Locations and weapons were diligently researched, and you could now aim down your sights. The game
Oh,
was
snap.
split into 3
It's
campaigns,
the first time that you can do that?
each focusing on a different facet of the war, emphasizing the global scale of the conflict. This was Call of Duty,
That's so badass.
Activision's answer to the Medal of Honor series, and Infinity Ward's chance to establish themselves as a leading independent studio.
Is that when they captured Berlin?
In reviews, it earned very favorable comparison to its competition. Call of Duty is an all-round excellent game that confidently challenges head-on all the other World War II themed shooters out there, and comes out on top.
Golly, damn. They're
Just when
killing
I
it,
thought
huh?
the World War II genre was getting tired on the PC, this game has made me forget all about any that have come before. But despite the praise, the glut of World War II games was becoming apparent. World War II
That's
first-person
true. I do
shooters
remember
were
that.
starting to wear out their welcome, but the electrifying Call of Duty shows how revitalizing an infusion of fresh blood can be.
It's crazy how you can go
World
back
War
to
II
that and it's
shooters
still
are a
good.
dime a dozen
World
these
War
days.
II.
But the truth is that Call of Duty could be reskinned for the Middle East or a sci-fi epic, and it would still be a great game.
I don't know about that sci-fi part.
Call of Duty was the 8th
At least with
best-selling
Advanced
video game
Warfare.
of 2003, going on to sell 4.5 million copies worldwide. Naturally, Activision wanted a sequel. Infinity Ward had wanted to break away from World War II since Allied Assault, but Activision had persuaded them to stick to
They're
what
like,
they
nah,
did
we'll wait until
best.
Call of Duty 4.
When it came to Call of Duty's sequel, Infinity Ward once again made an argument to switch to a modern setting. Grant Collier recalls Activision's counteroffer. Okay, how about we give you COD 2 for next generation? Microsoft doesn't have a Halo for launch, and they want a really strong first-person shooter, and they want it to be COD 2.
Okay.
The chance to make an Xbox 360 launch title would be a great opportunity for Infinity Ward to break into the much larger console
Oh
market.
my god, I mean, just look at that. It's so cool. I mean, it's like nighttime. You got these burning buildings. You're taking fire from them. Even like the detail in the clouds. You're going through like a cemetery and stuff.
Console market.
Such a
If
vibe.
done right, it could take Call of Duty into the mainstream. So, Infinity Ward agreed. Call of Duty 2 released on the 25th of October 2005 for the PC,
Golly.
and it was released with the Xbox 360 a month later on the 22nd of November. In reviews, there was a widespread acknowledgement that the World War II FPS genre is starting to wear thin, and
Like, hey,
that it
we'll
was
do it again for Call of
outplayed,
Duty 3.
overplayed, and beyond. GameSpy's review stated, "I'm just as sick of World War II first-person shooters as the next guy. Over the years, I've played so many of them that I feel like I could walk blindfolded from the beaches of Normandy all the way into downtown Berlin."
Damn.
So,
Oof.
the World War II well seemed to have been running dry for some time. But that said, Call of Duty 2's reviews were still generally positive.
Call of Duty
Video
3
Game
was
Talk's
awesome,
review
though.
read, "Quality trumps originality every time. And Infinity Ward's Call of Duty 2 isn't just some of the best that the first-person shooter genre has to offer. It may even be the best of the Xbox 360's launch titles.
I know World War 2 is getting
Game
old,
Chronicles
but Call of
said,
Duty 3 was
"War
dope,
might be
especially when
hell,
you could like
but Call of
heal
Duty 2
people with a
is
medic."
pure heaven to play." So while
Here's
it was
what they say about
recognized that
that.
it didn't revolutionize the genre, the game was still widely praised for its exciting gameplay and impressive atmosphere. Some reviewers tempered their
So
acclaim
cool.
on lack of originality, such as Eurogamer. Despite the crushing familiarity of the subject matter,
Crushing
and the
familiarity.
game-by-numbers formulaic approach, Call of Duty 2 succeeds in just about enough areas and moves things forward enough of an increment to make it appeal to even those of us
Yikes.
that are completely exasperated with the ongoing World War II obsession.
It's like, we didn't want it, but we'll take it because it's still done
Edge
well.
were more critical, stating, Infinity Ward has seen the coming of the 360 more as an excuse for amplification than as an opportunity for innovation.
Damn.
Nevertheless, Infinity Ward had
Got
wrapped up
him.
another great game, and crucially, they had tapped into the console market. COD 2
that.
sold 250,000 copies on the Xbox 360 within
Damn,
its
that's
first
badass.
week, making it the best-selling launch title for the new platform. It was increasingly clear, however, that they couldn't keep milking World War II. The fatigue with the setting was near
Sure about
universal
that?
in the game's criticism, and Infinity Ward were keen to try something new. We don't want to pigeonhole ourselves any more than we have to, and many members of the team came off Call of Duty 2 promising never to work on another World War II game.
Oh, damn.
Activision were more cautious in their approach. From their perspective, World War II games were reliable sellers, and changing things up presented an unknown risk.
Jeez.
Infinity Ward, armed with the criticism of COD 2, made their case to Activision. They wanted another World War II sequel. We said we would not do another one. This Modern Warfare is what we want to do, and what we've always wanted to do.
That's crazy. It's like you pick them up because they're so successful because they know kind of like what they're doing, what the market looks like. And then Activision's like, now we just want more World War II because it's like reliable. It's kind of a weird. I understand it's like the safe thing to do, but I mean, if you're trying to like really innovate and stand out, probably not the best move.
Swayed by the rising tide of criticism, Activision gave them the green light. Infinity Ward were granted permission to start work on Modern Warfare, while Treyarch worked on a World War II themed Call of Duty 3.
Oh, okay. That's okay. That makes sense. So Treyarch. I'm trying to remember the differences between Call of Duty 2 and Call of Duty 3. I do remember Call of Duty 3 was like a lot of fun. I played that a lot. And then when Call of Duty 4 came out, I didn't even like think about Call of Duty 3 after that, except for like maybe a few years ago. I was like, oh yeah, I remember when I was stuck on Call of Duty 3 for a while.
In fact, Infinity Ward embarked on 2 new projects. Along with Modern Warfare, part of the team started work on a new sci-fi concept, known internally as Halo Killer.
What is that?
One of the
Any
first
more?
hints of the new Call of Duty's development
clue.
were some job postings listed in February 2006. They were in search of programmers and animators to help with a multi-SKU title to be released on both the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Whether or not this new console project is an extension of the Call of Duty series or an original IP, however, remains to be seen.
Okay.
Of course, in the games industry,
Oh, that music
People
in
talk.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
in March 2006, the first rumors about Call of Duty's new direction started to percolate through unofficial channels. A joystick
Percolate.
article, citing a reliable source, claimed that a future COD moves into the modern age, taking the fight to Middle Eastern terrorists.
Yikes.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare is revealed as the title, with some details of the factions and missions to be featured. Most interesting are the mentioned aspects absent from the final game. Missions in London and the urban
that would've been
streets
cool.
of Eastern Europe. Tear gas.
I mean, I guess they ended up doing that later on with the newer Call of Duties, but it's really cool playing in like a city like London, especially having visited there. But I'm glad they didn't include that in Call of Duty 4 because it would have kind of like messed up the vibe a little bit. Especially like the SAS missions were cool, but in London would have felt a little weird.
Destructible environments. As ever,
Shooting through
comments
the
are
walls was
surprisingly
awesome.
negative.
I remember that being new.
Mandark posted, "Wow, EA decides to add variety to its tired World War II franchise by changing the enemy to, drumroll please, Middle Eastern terrorists. A backdrop even more tired and used up than World War II."
Was it?
Squirrel states, "Modern combat has been done
don't remember
and been done to a very good level
that
of
being,
production.
like, overdone
and I don't see the
at the
COD title
time.
bringing anything new to the table."
I mean, there's
Neil
not many
Gaff's
other
response
things.
was
What are you
a
gonna do,
little more
like
positive.
Civil War?
OP Funky Papa comments, COD going Battlefield 2? Not a bad thing if you ask me. Snatches responds,
Okay, Battlefield 2 went
a
hard
modern
though.
Call of Duty would be awesome if done by Infinity Ward. And user Boris exhibits a sharp prescience. I fear the COD franchise will go the Tony Hawk route. Too often, too many.
Oof.
By May 2006,
It got
Infinity
there,
Ward's
but I think
two
it bounced
concurrent
back a little
projects
bit.
were causing problems. Both Modern Warfare and the Halo Killer were competing for ideas and people. And
Oh,
hiring new
snap.
people hadn't alleviated the issue. Worse still, the split teams and leadership was having a harmful effect on Modern Warfare's development. The area hit hardest was the game design. Our design leadership was distracted by the second project and put a lot of their creative energy into it.
Damn, really?
A decision was made to cancel the Halo Killer and have the entire team focus on Call of Duty instead.
Oh, I
Ultimately,
bet
it
so
came
many
down to
people were
the
pissed off
realization
about that.
What made our previous game so strong was the chemistry of our team. Splitting the team into two parts broke that chemistry, and both projects suffered because of it.
Damn, they completely scrapped the other one?
In September, a new Call of Duty game was mentioned in a presentation for Activision's 2008 fiscal year. But otherwise, Activision and Infinity Ward maintained radio silence on the matter of COD 4 throughout 2006. NeoGAF user Busty makes a surprisingly accurate prediction.
What are these names?
Activision seems intent on milking/running into the ground the Call of Duty franchise. No doubt the Call of Duty game they have planned for next year will be the modern-day COD from Infinity Ward. Then, wait another 9 or 12 months, and we'll get another World War II set Call of Duty game from Treyarch.
Oh my gosh.
Great, Activision. Just great.
Damn.
Further leaks emerged in November, with Amped IGO running an article titled Call of Duty 4 in the works, leaning on a reliable source close to the Call of Duty development teams.
I didn't know it was in development
It
for that long.
reiterates the setting
Damn.
revealed in the first leak, but adds a couple of details. A PC version is confirmed, multiplayer is to support up to 54 players, and
The
that there are
multiplayer is
16
so
critical
fucking
points on opponents' heads, meaning you can shoot the side of a helmet to make it spin, or even shoot an enemy's ear off. Activision representatives were unavailable to confirm or deny
That would
these
have been
reports.
wild. I've always kind of like thought about that. Like, when does a shooter get like too realistic where people are like, oh, I felt bad like shooting that guy in the head?
Aside from
There's
a
got to be
few
a weird
rumours
balance
spreading
or
on game
psychological
forums,
thing there.
the public at large were generally unaware of what laid in store. 2007 rolled around, and the marketing behemoth of Activision was poised to unfurl its plan. On the 27th of March, the community relations manager at Infinity Ward, 402, posted an update, an announcement of our next title's announcement. We've been having a lot of meetings discussing the announcement of our next title. It's going to be big. Really big. I'm excited. We're all excited. And once you're in on it, you'll be excited too.
I don't remember the hype too much, to
On
be
the 20th
honest.
of April, 402 posts another update, stating that something exciting is coming on the 28th of April. Ahead of the reveal, an email went out to the press on the 25th, confirming that Infinity Ward's new game, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, would be unveiled on the 28th during the NFL draft on ESPN at noon Central.
Damn, okay.
And so it was.
That is a very
The world got
interesting
their first
marketing
glimpse
move.
of COD 4 in a 1-minute, 40-second trailer.
I don't remember
With
the
rapid
trailer
cuts
whatsoever.
between some of the missions in the game. The response was generally positive. The Infinity Ward forums were filled with excited praise, although many clamoured for more detail about the game's multiplayer. Even NeoGAF were impressed amidst the infighting. Awesome! First Call of Duty game I'm excited for. This, better than World War II crap.
I mean,
Looks
there's a
like
lot
quite a
of like
departure from the
badass
normal
scenes
Call of
in Call of
Duty.
Duty 4. It's so easy to
looks
hype it
good.
up.
It's a good thing they moved away from the World War II setting. That was getting very monotonous and boring. This looks interesting. It might be the first COD I've gotten since the first one. This looks really good. In the wake of the reveal, the gaming press kicked into action with their analysis of the trailer. The Activision marketing machine embarked on a global press tour promoting the game. New screenshots and details drip-fed via previews.
What I love so much about this game is like how long the campaign was. Now it's like everyone's just kind of focusing on like multiplayer stuff, and you don't really get like the split screen, or you don't really get like the nice long, I guess, thought out campaigns as much. And maybe I'm just like old school or something, but I do really appreciate a game with a nice campaign. Otherwise, I'm really not interested, to be honest. But I don't really play multiplayer ever.
The first details of the multiplayer started to emerge in June. We learned about Creator Class and the new perk system and the way you level up to unlock things.
The customization was so much fun.
Some of these perks were shown in short trailers,
camouflage
demonstrating
and
the
stuff.
way in which these options could affect gameplay. Options
Last
like
Stand was
Mass
so
Stand,
annoying.
Deep Impact, Double Tap, Sleight of Hand, Dead Silence. On the 11th of July, it was time for E3 2007. Call of Duty 4 was shown as part of the Microsoft conference, held at Santa Monica High School.
What the
Hot
heck?
off the heels of Call of Duty 2, the Infinity Ward team has been developing Call of Duty 4
These look exactly like the guys I want designing a badass game.
deeper Call of Duty experience. Variety is the next big thing for us. We're going deep, and we're going hard. The game continues to wow everyone that sees it. Infinity Ward also announced that they'll be releasing an Xbox 360 exclusive multiplayer beta to the public. We got our first look at the All Gillied Up mission, and a new trailer as well. One that should be immensely familiar to anyone who's played COD 4,
Oh yeah,
as it was reused as the game intro. You know, 50,000 people used to live here. Now it's a ghost town.
The first time I ever heard about
press events
Ukraine, I'll
followed
be
E3,
honest.
and the hype for the game's release started to build. COD 4 was awarded Best First-Person Shooter at E3 2007 by IGN, and even managed to pip Crysis to the Best Graphics Technology Award. Based on what we've seen thus far, and Infinity Ward's development history, we're quite confident Call of Duty 4 will turn out well. On the 22nd of August, it was the Leipzig Games Conference. The game was shaping up for release at this point, and attendees were given a chance to get hands-on with both parts of the campaign and the multiplayer.
Okay, now that we're
The
seeing
game's
this, I'm
release
starting to
date
remember
was
some of
also
the hype.
announced, the 5th of November. Anticipation was sky high, and signs were that the 360 multiplayer beta was imminent.
I didn't think it was that far out, though.
In fact, the beta launched to the public on the 27th of August. It featured 3 maps: Overgrown, Vacant, and Crash. And 4
the
game
M16
modes:
with the red dot.
Free-for-all, Team Deathmatch, Team Objective, and Team Tactical. Progression was capped to level 11, giving just a taste of the weapons and challenges available, although the cap was raised to 16 on the 7th of September, and eventually reached level 25 by the conclusion of the beta at the end of September. The response was very positive. Aside from overwhelmed servers inhibiting early signups, which led to some frustration, those who were able to get on seemed to like it quite a lot. Man, I'm just loving this, and I'm completely addicted. I love just trying to upgrade all my gear.
That's true. I think I played that game
COD
for like
4 is
2 years
amazing.
straight.
The best
at least.
multiplayer game I have played yet. I don't think I've ever instantly fell in love with a multiplayer shooter
And
before.
I've redone the
This is the
campaign
greatest
probably
anything
like
in the history of the universe.
20 times at least.
So, the Xbox 360 got a brief taste of multiplayer during September, but PS3 and PC users would have to wait a little longer. However, on the 11th of October, a PC single-player demo was released, with 1 level from the campaign.
I know I said I wouldn't pause it that much, but this is kind of reminding me now. I remember when Modern Warfare 2 came out, like everybody was doing like the midnight releases, and I ended up going to that as well. And I might have a couple pictures I could throw up that aren't like super cringy and stuff, but yeah, I remember like the army recruiters came out and everything. Even like it was that big of a deal by the time Modern Warfare 2 was coming out. Of course, they couldn't really do that for Call of Duty 4 because army wasn't really playing a huge role in that, but that like the hype got even bigger for Modern Warfare 2. It seemed like that was wild. So I think they kind of used a lot of what they learned from the promotion for Call of Duty 4.
Bog. A small sample showing some of the new weapons, night vision goggles, bullet penetration, and a chance for PC players to test
that bullet
performance.
penetration. I remember that was like really.
Unfortunately, the response was
such a cool thing to
surprisingly
me.
lukewarm. After the success of the 360 beta, many were more keen on getting their hands on the multiplayer. So a short section of scripted set pieces didn't grip folk quite the same way. A bit disappointed. Feels like COD 2 set in modern times, and with some new additional graphical effects. Gameplay seems to be the same stuff these guys have been doing since Medal of Honor Allied Assault. An explosive game of whack-a-mole where enemies keep respawning until the player progresses further.
Whack-a-mole.
Except
Jeez.
now with Arabs. Wow. The single player feels so average compared to the multiplayer. It's definitely COD, but man, has the style worn thin over the years.
I will say some missions definitely felt like that, but for the most part,
I suppose
the
the
case.
backlash was inevitable. From the highest highs of the summer hype, the only way was down. The rest of October was uneventful. As Activision and Infinity Ward focused on preparing for launch, there was a quiet period
All the
of
grenades.
anticipation. For many, November couldn't come quickly enough. But roll around it did, and onto the shelves it went. Critical reception was, unsurprisingly,
I love that
very
mission so
positive.
much.
The game was praised on all fronts, with the only common criticism being the short length of the campaign.
Really?
Until now, it hasn't been clear exactly how Infinity Ward would engineer Call of Duty's relocation from World War II to the near future. The answer is with confidence. Modern Warfare comfortably exceeds expectations and propels this hugely successful series to a new high without undermining any of the core principles that made the historically set COD games such accomplished first-person shooters.
Okay, yeah, well said.
Call of Duty 4 embraces modern warfare with a passion that suggests this new love affair will burn for a long time yet. It
It's
is
kind of
moved
weird,
on,
but it did make
tapped a
war
rich
seem
new
like
vein
really
for Call of Duty at least.
fun or
And in doing
badass.
so, it has breathed fresh life into the contemporary shooter as a genre.
Of course, it wasn't that realistic to like
It's a
what
rarity to play a game as
Afghanistan and
highly
Iraq were
polished
looking
and as
like,
well
but
crafted as Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
I think they kind of knew
cannot
that
recommend it
and did that
enough.
for a reason.
And fans of the series are getting just what they've been wishing for since COD 2 released over 2 years ago.
It's pretty
It's
impressive
official.
to be able
The
to
World
make
War II
that
shooter
or
genre
have that
has
effect,
been
though.
well and truly buried. And we're of the opinion that it's about bloody time. Again, it goes without saying, but Call of Duty 4's sales were spectacular.
Hella Blackhawks.
In November 2007 alone, it sold 1.57 million copies on the Xbox 360
Jeez.
and 444,000 on the PS3.
Golly.
The retail PC
That's
version
insane.
sold 383,000 by the end of the year. By June 2008, the game had passed 10 million total sales across all platforms.
Yeah, people were buying
By
the Xbox
2018,
just for this.
Sales had reached over 17 million. It's fair to say the risk paid
Golly.
off. It was absolutely the right call to abandon the World War II setting, and COD 4 is testament to what a passionate studio is capable of when
Oh, yeah.
circumstances align. With COD 4, Infinity Ward revolutionized the first-person shooter and dominated the 7th generation landscape. In one fell swoop, they effectively killed off World War II as a setting and installed the modern military shooter as the new default. Now, every
Especially
shooter
with all the
had to have
weapons and the
creator
guns and
class
whatnot, everything is
perks
just so
and
much-
a leveling mechanic for unlocks.
So much more
even
satisfying
dragged
and
the Medal
fun.
of Honor series out of its grave and tried to emulate Call of Duty's success. And while Battlefield always tried to distance itself from the cinematic set pieces of COD with its large-scale vehicle and squad combat, it's clear Infinity Ward's games have had an influence.
Dude, Bad Company 2 was, I don't know, that was another very, very
Of
fun
course,
game.
Activision
Just blowing
would have been
walls up
pleased.
and stuff.
They had uncovered a rich new vein ripe for exploitation. And so, sequel after sequel after sequel followed.
Check those corners.
In 2009, Modern Warfare 2
Oh.
had the biggest
Glock
entertainment
18.
launch in history, selling nearly 5 million copies on its first day of release.
That's insane. Okay.
Treyarch's first
So the
foray
hype did
into the
work for
modern-ish
sure.
era, Black Ops, broke that record in 2010, selling
Really?
5.6 million. Modern Warfare 3
Damn.
in 2011 sold 6.5 million on its first day. Black Ops 2 grossed $500 million in 24 hours. COD was big business.
That's insane.
But if there's one thing we learned from our brief obsession with World War II, it's that you can't milk the same...
Say 500 million? Like $500 million in a day? That is unreal.
...cow forever. As Gen 7 came to a close, the modern military shooter was looking pretty threadbare. And much of the original Infinity Ward team had left in 2010 after a contract dispute. Activision, of course, still had the multi-billion-dollar franchise and the means to exploit it. Call of Duty may have
And
passed its
exploited
peak,
they did.
but it had an awfully long way to fall. As the series progressed, there were attempts to innovate. Black Ops 2 and Ghosts first flirted with near-future settings, and Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3, and Infinite Warfare embraced a fully sci-fi aesthetic.
I forgot
complete
all
with
about
jetpacks.
Infinite Warfare.
Call of Duty World War
Holy
II
cow.
and Vanguard took the series back to its historical roots with only limited success. It's telling that Activision didn't release sales figures for some of these titles, only later conceding to shareholders that sales didn't meet our expectations. But still,
Yeah.
Call of Duty marches on, buoyed slightly by the
Oh
recent
my gosh.
reboot of Modern Warfare
So much
and
fun.
over
I
2
love
decades
that.
of brand recognition. Quite how much longer it will continue remains to be seen, presumably a function of revenue over risk conducted by a board of Activision executives. It's easy to criticize.
I mean,
now, of
I was
course.
all about this.
Each
I ate
annual
it
Call
up.
of Duty is a by-the-numbers, perfunctory affair. But the game that
Night Vision
ignited
looks
it
so
all,
good.
Call of Duty 4, was anything but. Truly lightning in a bottle, a labour of love from a talented team with great chemistry that decided to take a chance.
Forgot that they just nuked.
Modern
They nuked
Warfare.
him.
Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, farewell.
Damn, that was so well done. And I'm really starting to remember like a lot of the hype for Call of Duty 4. But now more specifically like Modern Warfare 2. I did like Call of Duty 4 more, and I definitely played it more. But I think that's because when Modern Warfare 2 was coming out, I was like in high school and I was kind of focusing on actually joining the Marines. So I didn't play it as much, especially since it was also Army. But it was a good game too. So I want to hear y'all's perspective as far as what you thought about Call of Duty 4 when that came out, especially if you played the previous Call of Duties or the Call of Duties after, kind of how it resonated with you. Again, I'm sure I haven't met anybody else, I don't think, that joined the Marines or the military because of Call of Duty 4 as well. But I'm sure that there's, you know, a few other people out there where that kind of like pushed them over the edge as far as wanting to do that. But yeah, I'm sure everybody has their own interesting perspectives or thoughts of Call of Duty 4 as far as how they remember it or why they remember it specifically. So let me know down in the comment section what that was for you, if you guys kind of played it when it launched. But yeah, just definitely a great game. Like I can pick it up pretty much at any point and have a lot of fun with it, especially just customizing it, using all the modern weapons. Especially when I got into Airsoft, like I was always trying to kind of mirror my Call of Duty weapons or my Airsoft weapons off of, you know, what I was using in Call of Duty, kind of vice versa, which is kind of a weird thing. But it was a lot of fun to do that as well and get excited about each. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Again, Ahoy knocked it out of the park. I'll put the video in the description so you guys can go and check out their channel. And if you haven't seen the other like iconic arms videos or the reactions, definitely go and check them out because those are some really, really well-made videos as well. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, definitely feel free to hit that thumbs up. Let me know what you think. And definitely consider subscribing if you aren't subscribed already. But that is it for this video. I'll see you all in the next one.